What's up, guys? Recently, Team17 released an AMA on Reddit where the players could ask them questions about future plans or changes coming. I looked through over 1,000 comments and picked out some of the most interesting ones I could find. There may have been some I missed or new ones since I've looked, but these are the ones that caught my eye. And I've tried to group the questions based on their underlying topics, which you can filter through with timestamps in the video. We'll get started with Carlos Trotsky asking, what is the British rework going to look like? Team17 responds that it will be thorough. We know they need more accurate uniforms, vehicles, and weapons. So much so that sadly, we can't give a solid timeline for this amount of work just yet. We're committed to making it happen, however. We'll share our progress through regular developer briefings and PTE any significant changes to firearms. Lazy Guinea asks, what was the rationale behind moving away from historical accuracy with the British? Team17 responded as, we are exceptionally keen as a studio to move towards historical accuracy and have plans to improve the British forces to make them not only more accurate but fun to play. Alongside your feedback in future PTE sessions, we want to see more of a focus on historical accuracy come into place. Team17 was then asked specifically about the British loadouts, in which they responded, yes, we are looking at various loadouts right now with our priority being the British. We know we must first expand and make accurate the existing loadouts for these forces. Next, we'll take a look at addressing historical accuracy with Duckingham asking the question, is there any chance that the future factions Finns and the Polish, maybe Italians, will be playable in the 100-player game modes instead in the shorter game modes? Team17 says yes, we have done extensive research and development on the Finnish-Soviet Winter War, and we are very keen to release a large warfare offensive map with combined arms 50 vs 50. We are also looking into other historical battles and campaigns of World War II, including Case White being the early war German invasion of Poland. Florkley asks, will we get a Pacific theater? Team17's response was, we do want to explore introducing the Pacific Front, and we will need to look into how we could deliver this. Right now we don't currently have any timelines, while we continue to make sure that we improve the existing game and forces already available. Rude Butterfly asks if there's any plans to add the Canadian Army into the game. Team17's response was yes, they are planning on including the Canadians as well as other nations into the Allies in the future. RNNDC asks, will we ever get more urban-based maps like Carentan and Sainte Marie du Mont? I feel the game lacks a lot of urban maps. Team17 states, yes, we do have plans for more urban-based maps. This is something we are very keen on, as I know many players like myself enjoy urban combat. Fresh Act asks, will there ever be an introduction of some of the famous cosmetics people have been asking for, such as SS Camo Smocks, P.44 uniforms, and British Paratrooper battle dress? Team17 states that yes, there are plans to include all those uniforms in the game at some point. Manfusion's question, are there plans to add correct tanks for maps such as the Tiger currently being in El Alamein? Also the use of tank camouflage for specific maps. Team17 states yes, we want armor to be historically accurate, including markings, camo, etc. for all maps. We don't have a timeline we can share for this work right now, but it is something we want to eventually introduce. Meister LTU asks, do you have any plans to add accurate uniforms for different maps such as the Africa Corps uniforms? And do you have any plans to add period accurate weapons for different maps? Team17 says yes to both questions. We want to offer specific uniforms for maps, including more accurate British and German uniforms for North Africa maps. We also want to make weapons, vehicles, and armor specific to certain maps, and are already working on a new set of British armor for North Africa, which we'll be able to share more about in the future dev briefs. Next, we'll take a look at gameplay features that are coming, with Hard Tofin asking, will you be adding the ability to use the bipod on the Bren gun, and if not, why not? Team17 responds as, we are looking at potential solutions for the Bren light machine gun to include a bipod. However, there are a lot of things we must first take into consideration. One of the options could be to give the Bren a functioning bipod and move it into the machine gunner role. We are conscious that giving the Bren a bipod as it exists now could have a large impact on the existing meta and game experience. A 6-person squad could end up with 2 LMG-type weapons, which could be too MG-heavy. We need to continue prototyping this and look for your feedback through future PTEs. Vittorio Jedi asks, will we ever see the implementation of fire mode selectors for guns that historically had them? Team17 states, this has to be one of the most asked questions so far. While it is not currently being looked at, as that functionality does not exist in Hell Let Loose, I think it's a good idea and would definitely help make the game more historically accurate. A few things we need to figure out, especially on console controllers, but yes, this is something we should prototype out and PTE. Spectre asks, what are the future plans for artillery in the game? Have there been any ideas on how to change it, tweak it, or balance artillery and the recon game loop that has been present? Team17 response, we understand that this is a big topic amongst players, and we are looking at different solutions for artillery, including self-propelled artillery, smaller artillery pieces, and mortars. We have a variety of prototypes we want to explore implementing, and then eventually running PTEs to gather feedback as part of the development process. Emperor Shmoo asks, are there any plans for new emplacements like sandbags, MG nests, observation towers, etc. that would increase the defender's ability to hold a position? Team17 states yes. We have been looking at the possibility of introducing various new weapon systems, for example, the German Lafette tripod system for MGs. Emperor Shmoo also asks, are there any current plans for addressing the medic's viability on the battlefield? Team17 states, this is something we have been looking into in the background, and yes, we even have designs for medics to be able to drag wounded players, as well as re-evaluate incentives such as a bonus XP when revived by a medic. What the Fudge asks, is it possible to have additional means to cross the water on maps that have a singular bridge? Team17 says, this is something we're looking into, the inclusion of boats and watercraft. Marius asks, have you guys considered adding for the machine gunner class the option of a machine gun emplacement, similar to that of what the anti-tank role gets with the AT gun, making it sort of a defensive position? Team17 says, yes, and we even have a design and are already prototyping out the exact mechanic, which we will feature in a future PTE. Gebatron asked the important question about the ability to pass each other in trenches. Team17's response is that it is something they are already prototyping out, with wider trenches in the development of Breakcourt Battery, and it works quite well. For our refresh of SMDM, we'll look to implement this change as well, which you'll be able to test for yourself in a PTE session. Jay Hutch asks if there will be an introduction of minimum level requirements for key roles such as commander and officer. Team17 states, this is very much something we have already looked at and have designed, and plan to go into more detail about with a future debrief. Makarov asks, are there any current plans to improve the performance of the flamethrower? Team17 states that balancing weapons is something that is high up on our list. The viability of flamethrower in the game's current meta isn't where the community wants it to be, and isn't where the team wants it to be either. Making improvements to the flamethrower is on our list. We will, however, want to make sure that any big changes go through the proper due diligence and are tested by players first. Ronsbach asks, will Hell Let Loose ever get free look? Team17 states, we already have a design for free look, which we will prototype in the future. Azrael GFG asks, when will the LODs be fixed for distant objects, and when can we expect real performance fixes? Team17 responds, our tech art team are working on fixing the worst offenders. However, the core issue is down to how LODs are implemented in the game, which makes it very hard to fully fix. We are, however, very much looking into options on how to make any improvements in this area. Next, we'll briefly discuss the audio feature within Hell Let Loose, with our first question from Remnant asking if there will be any more improvements with Vox, which is the in-game voice chat system. Hell Let Loose's response is, we have already pushed out a number of fixes for VoIP issues that do fix failures in some situations. However, it is clear that we are far from done with this. We will continue to investigate and fix instances where VoIP can fail. This is an area where it is tough to get information about the issue, as we rarely see issues in our development environment. We hope to get much further with this during our PTE sessions with you. Next question from Zeno Hun. Can you please let us behind the scenes when it comes to audio? Team17 responds with, from their audio director, the majority of the audio in Hell Let Loose is currently sourced from sound effect libraries. Since moving on to the project, we have been looking into various opportunities that will allow us to record authentic weapons and vehicles that are of the era, which is really exciting. For the last few months, any supporting audio for new features has been recorded by ourselves to keep things sounding fresh and unique. This is something we absolutely want to continue for future updates. We have been taking note of mentions of weapon and vehicle sounds that don't sit quite right for some, both internally and externally. So we now have a hit list of what to update first in the future. The Hell Let Loose audio team hope you enjoy what's to come and looks forward to your feedback in the coming months so that we can make the game sound even better. Next, we have a couple questions about the user interface. The first one from Valuable Onion. Why is there not an option in the main menu for where you can check your career stats? Even tracking your wins and losses is not possible. Team17 responds, thank you for your question. We are keen to include player career stats and are planning on a design for this very feature. We don't have a timeline just yet, but it is something we're looking into. Dutch Commander MC asks if there are any plans to improve the map user interface. Team17 responds that it is something they are going to look into as part of a UI refresh to better support a player's experience. Moving on to Armour, we've got Gebatron again with a question. Is the team happy with how Armour works in the game currently? Will we ever see any changes to the Armour system? Team17 responds with, there are many changes we would like to make to Armour in order to better simulate the performance and attributes of Armour in World War II. As many of the community will acknowledge, there is very little symmetrical armor in relation to their traversal speed, reliability, turret rotation, reloading speeds, armor strength, deflections, suspension, plus gun range and penetration in World War II. This level of historical accuracy combined with gameplay is a delicate balance, but one we are keen to address in a series of prototypes that we will want to PTE. Plus, yes, we are very keen to include US tank destroyers and more armor like the Stug. Following up on that, we've got a question from Consistent Ad. Why can't a 56-ton tank drive over a ditch without getting stuck? Team17 responds with, we are aware that there are problematic areas of the terrain that are most often experienced when using vehicles. The team has created tools to make it easier for us to fix these issues and have begun fixing areas as we notice them or are made aware of them. If there are specific cases, please let us know and we will get them fixed. Up next are some questions directly about console and PC. Salty asks, if you can't find a server browser on console for the foreseeable future, could you at least put a find empty server option for clan matches? Team17 responds with, this has honestly been a big topic for me since joining the team from a production perspective. I want players to be able to choose what maps, game modes they're playing, but the question we need to answer with this in mind is how many other players are looking for similar filters to yourself. What I wouldn't want to happen is there to be only a small amount of players looking for similar filters to yourself and getting put into a game with minimal players. This is something we've been looking at and will continue exploring what can be done to offer the players the best experience. I've also seen that Team17 has said that basically it's going to be hard to do with the infrastructure that's built into the console platform for finding servers, and I'm going to go ahead and say that it is probably unlikely that console will be getting anything close to the server browsing that PC has. If you want to, you can take a look here. This is in response to Duckstew, who apparently is part of the competitive console community for Hell Let Loose, and Team17 gives him a much more in-depth answer. If you want to pause the screen, you screenshot it and zoom in, and you can read everything here. I'm not going to go over all of this for right now, though. LiveAd asks, will you implement party systems on PC so you can create a lobby with your friends and search for games together? Team17 says, throughout these questions, I've seen a lot of people ask about a party system on PC. I think this is a great idea and will help people join games with their friends. What I don't want to happen, however, is for players to be in a party but not able to join the same faction after joining a lobby. So tackling this and really ensuring we have the design of this feature down would be a top priority. The next topic here is the discussion on optimization. This has been beat to death. This is another long post where the devs explain what's going on in the background. So again, you can pause the screen here or screenshot it and zoom in and read it yourself. It's pretty in-depth, should give you an idea of what they've got going on. I think eventually the optimization will be where it needs to, but as of now, it's all words, so we'll wait and see how this pans out. Here's another post by Remnant, basically asking if there's going to be a fix for the map jankiness that you see on certain terrains. Team17 responds with, we have created a specific tool to help fix these issues. We are now able to more easily visualize the various collision shapes and level markup in a much simpler way, which makes identifying and fixing these issues a lot easier. We are fixing specific instances as we find them, so you will see improvements through each update. Pazman asks if there will be a new roadmap for the rest of the year since basically the old one has been scrapped and thrown away. Team17 responds, yes, we are working on fully fleshing out and designing a new roadmap. And last but not least, Team17 actually addresses a question concerning the infamous German OP trailer. Dear Replacement asks what was the thought process behind the trailer. Team17 responds, the story behind the trailer going live isn't as exciting as some of you would like to believe. This trailer was outsourced to a new partner agency with a too short deadline, and to be honest, the checks that should have been carried out on the quality of the assets and the historical accuracy did not happen. These mistakes have been learned from and acted upon, with our internal trailer team which had worked on the majority of our previous trailers being brought back onto the project. That trailer is not a representation of Hell Let Loose or the dedication and care that the team applies to everything they do with regard to the title, and we will never put out an asset of that quality ever again. That's all the Reddit posts I found that really jumped out at me. I do like the responses shared here by Team17, but as always, we will all wait in anticipation for what the future actually holds. Until next time, I'll see you all on the battlefield. Stay frosty.